The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. For decades, when we talk about Africans leaving Africa to find work, we always thought of the same places. We thought of dangerous boats crossing to Europe or young people trying to get visas to Canada, United Kingdom, or America. But over the last few years, a new dangerous route has opened up. It stretches thousands of miles across the ocean to Southeast Asia, specifically to the country of Cambodia. Before we look at how our youth are getting trapped there, please take a moment right now and subscribe, hit the notification, and select all so you never miss any update. Your support helps us bring these important stories to light. So please, subscribe and join the community. Just recently, panic swept through weekend groups on social media. It all started with a document. A letter with what looked like an official government seal began spreading fast on WhatsApp, Telegram, and Facebook. The letter was addressed directly to Africans from countries like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Cameroon, and Uganda. It claimed that Cambodia was ending all residence permits for Africans on May 31st, 2026. It warned that anyone found in the country by June 1 will be arrested at the airport or on the streets, fined $8,000 and thrown into prison for 2 years before being kicked out. The letter looked incredibly real. It used the names of real officials and real government offices. Instantly, parents back home started calling their children in a panic. Legitimate students, business owners, and workers who had lived in Cambodia legally for years sadly felt terrified. Major news stations in East and West Africa picked up the headline, telling the world that Cambodia was kicking all Africans out. Then the Cambodian government spoke out. They declared that the document was completely fake. They said it was a total lie designed to cause fear and told people to only trust official government websites. But in deep investigative reporting, a government denial is never the end of the story. Even if that specific letter was fake, the fear driving the panic is 100% real.
Now tonight, the story of Kenyans stranded in Cambodia after falling victim to fraudulent overseas job offers, a problem authorities say continues to expose some of the country's most vulnerable workers to human trafficking and exploitation. Those affected traveled to Southeast Asia last year in search of employment, despite government warnings issued after dozens of Kenyans was rescued from scam compounds in Myanmar. Now, as Cambodian authorities carry out fresh raids on suspected scam centers, the scale of the problem is once again in focus, and so are the lives of those caught in it. Some Kenyans say they are now trapped in immigration detention, fearful they could be returned to the very networks that exploited them.
It's a familiar sequence of events. 28-year-old Stacy, not her real name, a casual laborer in Nairobi, applied for a job in early 2025.
It was online or job, so I registered and did an interview of a cosmetologist, and I passed the interview. They told me they cut up my ticket and everything, and visa. So they cut up everything, and then I came. But I asked them why they give me visa, tourist visa, not business visa. So they working visa. They told me that when you reach in Cambodia, we give you business visa. Since we don't know you, the people you can. I can give you business visa and decide not to come. So you must come, we see you, and then we buy for you, we process for you.
She headed to Phnom Penh, Cambodia's capital, in May. Around the same time, the Kenyan government rescued 78 citizens from scam compounds in Myanmar and warned against overseas jobs offered on tourist visas, calling them a clear red flag. But in a country where jobs are hard to come by, Stacey was driven by a desperation to provide for her child and family, only to be tortured in the hands of criminal gangs.
I was even surprised what work we were doing. So they were not paying us and doing anything. So I don't know why. So when we started asking for our payments, they transfer us for another company. They sell us to another company. since we were not okay, mind and everything, so we didn't know that they're sending us to another company. They took us to that company again. So that company, we finished like 3 months. So we told the Chinese we don't want to be sold again. We want to do They told us if you have $3,000, it's okay. If your family sent $3,000, they will let you go out and go to your families.
Cambodian police have raided multiple suspected scam centers, detaining suspects and seizing equipment, evidence of how widespread and entrenched these scam centers are. However, the raids have left a number of the victims stranded, with nowhere to go. Most have no money to buy their way back home. Stacy found herself in what she describes as an immigration center. In December, her family managed to raise money for a ticket back to Kenya, only to be told the ticket they had bought was not valid.
Now, I bought the ticket on 18th. I was supposed to go 18th of December. So I went and gave the immigration officer the ticket, showed the ticket and told him that I'm supposed to go on 18th, my plane is on 18th. They came and told me that ticket is not good, it's bad. I was like surprised because I don't know the ticket is not good yet. I've not been to the airport and seen myself that the ticket is not okay. So from that day till today, I've never seen the police, I've never seen the immigration people just in the room.
Officials at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs say they are aware of the situation regarding Kenyans in Cambodia and are taking measures to address it. It's not clear how many Kenyans are stranded in Cambodia. Stacey says they could be about 300, but the ministry is yet to confirm the numbers. Catherine Onwando, NTV.
People do not panic like that unless they are already living in a very dangerous situation. The truth is that Cambodia has been carrying out a massive crackdown on foreigners. The government itself admitted that they have deported over 48,000 people recently, and over 200,000 more have fled the country. Hundreds of young Africans are caught right in the middle of this mess. We have to look past the fake letter and ask the bigger question. What are thousands of educated, ambitious young Africans doing in Cambodia in the first place? Why will a university graduate leave Lagos, Nairobi, Accra, or Dulula to move to a country halfway around the world where they do not even speak the language? The answer is a massive multi-billion-dollar human trafficking network that preys on the lack of jobs in Africa. On social media, Facebook and Telegram, job ads have been targeting young Africans for years. The ads look perfect. They look for call center workers, data entries, customer service agents, and digital marketing experts. They promise to pay for the flight, handle the visas, and provide free housing. Most importantly, they promise salaries from $1,000 to $3,000 a month for a graduate sitting at home with no job, dealing with high inflation and a tough economy. That money changes everything. It means they can finally take care of their parents and build a future. But the moment these young people land in Cambodia, the trap snaps shut. Their passports are taken away, their phones are checked, they are put into vans and driven to isolated, heavily guided compounds. These are the notorious cyber scam factories of Southeast Asia. Massive areas have been turned into digital prisons. From the outside, they look like gated estates with high walls, barbed wire, surveillance cameras, and armed guards. You cannot leave unless the bosses let you. Inside these walls, a modern form of slavery is happening every day. Hundreds of young people are forced to sit at computers for 14 to 16 hours a day. Their job is to run a terrible online fraud known as big battering. The scam is purely psychological. The workers are forced to create fake profiles on dating apps and social media. They pretend to be lonely people looking for love or successful investors with secrets to wealth. Week after week, they talk to strangers in America or Europe, building trust and making them feel special. Once the victim falls in love or trusts them, the workers trick them into investing all their life savings into fake cyber currency apps. The bosses run the compound on strict daily targets. Every worker has a quota of money they must steal online each day. If they fail to hit that target or if they try to refuse, the punishment is horrific. Human rights groups like Amnesty International have documented the absolute nightmare inside these buildings. In many cases, the managers treat these workers like literal property. Survivors who manage to escape tell stories of extreme violence. Men are beaten with clubs or shot with electric kettle prods. Women have been held down by guards while the managers beat the soles of their feet with metal poles until they cannot walk. People are starved, locked in dark rooms, and sold from one compound to another like cattle. This is the world hundreds of our youth are living in right now. And the worst part is how the law treats them when things go wrong. When international pressure gets too high, and then the Cambodian police finally raid a compound, the billionaire bosses run away with the money. They are never caught. Instead, the police arrest the workers, the young victims, who were forced to scam under threat of death, are treated as illegal migrants. This is not a guess. According to the United States State Department official tracking person report, Cambodia authorities consistently fail to protect trafficking victims. Instead of helping them, the U.S. State Department confirms that Cambodia officials inappropriately punish these foreign workers, charging them with immigration crimes and locking them up for things they were forced to do. The paperwork treats them like criminals, even though the crime was done to them. This criminal empire does not hide in the dark. It is protected by high-level corruption. The United States State Department report states plainly that widespread corruption exists at all levels of the Cambodian government, and that the senior elite business figures and officials profit directly from these operations. To give you an idea of the size of this network, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime issued an official report revealing that these regional scam networks bring in between $50 billion and $70 billion globally every single year. The United Nations documents that these compounds are deeply tied to conglomerates. If you want absolute proof that this is a state-protected criminal empire, look at the international sanctions. The United States and the United Kingdom Treasury Department have issued official financial sanctions directly against top Cambodian tycoons and corporate groups. The US and UK Treasury explicitly named major groups like LYP Group for being directly involved in human trafficking, forced labor, and housing these online fraud compounds. These international agencies confirm that corrupt protection flows from high levels, keeping these billion-dollar centers safe from local police. When we look at this entire crisis, we realize that Cambodia is not the real problem. Cambodia is just the symptom. The true crisis is the economic emergency happening inside Africa. For years, politicians and international forums have been bragging about Africa rising. They talk about big economic growth, new mineral discoveries, and billions in foreign investments. But the youth on the ground are looking at these numbers and asking a simple question: rising for who? If the economic growth of a country cannot create a single job where a university graduate can earn a decent living and build a home, then that growth means nothing. When our brightest minds are reduced to driving motorcycles or sitting idle for years, the continent is throwing away its future. And this, we must all rise up. The problem is not anybody, but ourselves. Because the leaders, the politicians, the continent, and everybody feel the African. And that is why the African seeks other opportunities. Where there is wealth, Africans can't even see the money. We hear the beautiful speeches. We hear the growth, but we can never feel this growth, this rising in our daily lives. If it were so, Africans wouldn't be going through this slavery in a modern way, while our leaders still give us numbers and speeches. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's colonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world and in Cambodia.